Is your head spinning a bit? You've been all around the world the past couple of months. There's been a bit going on for you.
At first it was, but it's getting used to playing overseas. You get used to the quick turnarounds, especially for someone like myself who plays year-round. And so going from one place to another, going home for maybe a week and a half, and then going off somewhere else for the full season. So this last change around was kind of quicker than I've ever had to experience before. But, I've been able to settle in here in Perth.
So when you went back from France, you got married that week as well.
Yeah.
Was that heavily planned? I wouldn't have thought it was.
Well, originally I was going to do it in France. I was going to propose to her and have the whole ceremony out there in France, have both of our families out there. But, me coming home was kind of a unexpected opportunity to have to save my family traveling because, they're not really big on flying like I am. It's part of the job for me. So we was able to do it, have our intermediate families there to, be there for that moment, which was nice.
So it looked like a backyard wedding in one of the photos, then it looked like a normal traditional wedding in another.
We had the ceremony at her house, but then we took actual wedding photos a couple of days later in downtown Oklahoma City with a photographer and stuff like that was playing. We kind of just had to throw something together because we didn't have, nobody was expecting me to come home like I did, so we didn't really have time to orchestrate a whole wedding, but we're going to have that later on whenever I'm back for an extended amount of time.
And to add to the dramas you've had and excitement of the past couple of months, you've got a baby on the way.
Yeah, baby boy. Yeah, I just found out a couple of weeks ago I'm going to have my son, so I'm very excited.
How's Mackenzie, Mackie? How
government is Mackenzie, but we call her Mackie. She goes by Mackie, so... but we're all excited. She's having her good days and her bad days, dealing, with the struggles of being pregnant and stuff like that. So I'm doing my best to be able to help her through it as much as I can. Some days she hates me, some days she loves me. So I'm just rolling with the punches.
How is it obviously when you're traveling around the world? Was it important for you to be married just to make it easier to get in and out of different countries? Does that make your life a bit more simple?
I didn't even know about the extra stuff of being married or having your significant other travel with you, but it definitely does make it a lot easier, paperwork-wise, to be married. But, that's not why I married her. I mean, I was going to marry her regardless. But it just kind of worked out that way, But I'm glad I did. Like, it's cool.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier if you can get into the country a bit quicker. That's for sure. So if you can bring the wedding forward slightly to make it easier. And from a baby perspective, how long is she going to be in Australia, given that there's going to be some challenges around flying home when she gets to a certain point?
She'll leave in February. That's that 30-week date for when pregnant people can travel. So she'll be here as long as she can, and then spend expecting a baby in late April. So. Whenever I'm finished here, I'll go back, have the kid, and I'll be home with them, chilling until I decide whether I'm going to go play again soon, or either that summer or I'm going to wait until the next full season. I haven't decided yet.
So many decisions that you got to make, and it's amazing. Being an import, it's not a simple life. As we've just discovered, you got a wedding to plan, you got a baby on the way, and you've gone from Oklahoma to Puerto Rico to Cleveland to Israel to Japan to France, and now you're in Perth. A lot of people would say it's a glamorous lifestyle traveling around. Is it glamorous, or is it really hard work and stressful?
The glamour doesn't outshine the behind the work, the behind the scenes stuff that goes on. Like you said, is constantly changing. I give a lot of credit to my agent for putting me in a very good positions at all times. And so I really. It can get anxious waiting to see where you're gonna go, which teams are interested in you. Sometimes most of the decisions are made last moment, especially because since I'm playing constantly, I kind of have that last window of teams that are signing their players because I'm still playing, competing for championships in Puerto Rico, when most of the teams are signing with that first wave of imports, and so I kind of get. Not necessarily slim pickings, but there's definitely limited amount of spots whenever I'm ready to make my decision. Because I maybe get about 4 or 5 days off, and then it's like, all right, well now I got to decide where I'm going to go next. And so it can get a little overwhelming at times. But my situation I feel like is unique because I haven't had. I graduated in college when COVID first happened. So since COVID, I've maybe had for the past going on 4 years, maybe a month and a half total off in terms of in between time of when I stop playing and then going to play somewhere else. So, life has been hectic for me, but I just have a go get it mentality. I don't like sitting at home for a long time. I like to go play. I just like to play basketball. I don't really care where I go. So that makes that me not having necessarily a high like requirements makes it a lot easier for my agent to be able to just tell me this team wants you, you pick. And so that's usually how it goes.
You've had a lot of success as well everywhere you've gone. It's not usually a coincidence when a player goes somewhere and success follows them and they're able to slot into a program really well. We saw you come over here and you weren't shooting much, and then all of a sudden you found your range and worked out where you would fit into this team. Are you really proud of your ability to slot into any environment and help that team to be better?
Yeah, I think that's one of my greatest strong suits. I'm not the type of person to where the team has to adjust to me. I feel like I can go in and play in any type of system because of the range of my abilities. For me, I don't focus on, I'm not fixated on scoring. I know certain teams will require me to do different things, and so I take everything as a challenge to be better in a different way. With this team, it took me a while to figure out how I was gonna fit in, things that the team needed me to do. But I got here two days before the first game, and so it's kind of like I was just happy to be here. I was just trying to learn the plays, learn everybody's name. I didn't even know anybody's name my first game. It was just it was just basketball. But as I became more familiar with the team, the plays and everything, and how the tendencies of my teammates, the way that the league plays, I've been able to slowly but surely, gradually be more confident, assert myself in different ways, whether it be playing defense, rebounding, been able to knock down open shots. And so, I'm just happy that I've been able to impact the team in a positive way to help us win these past 3 games, and hopefully can keep that going on forward.
So that first game, you don't know everyone's names, which is just reality for everyone. I reckon takes me a while to remember everyone's names, but you're out there in front of a big crowd competing. How were you calling for the ball? What were you doing when you were trying to communicate with people?
Man, it was just like, hey, whatever number, like.
You're calling by numbers?
Yeah, because I didn't know. I had just met everybody 48 hours before we played. I had learned maybe 2 plays that I knew without having to be told where to go. And so it was tough. I've never been in a situation like that before, to where not only did I not know the plays, I didn't know nobody's name. I just knew our coach's name and our general manager's name. I didn't know anything else. And so I've been able to work past that pretty well.
And what about opposition players? Because when you're going all the way around the world, you're constantly coming up against players you've never met before, you've never played against, so you're relying on the scout, and you're learning names for that as well. Is that a real challenge?
Not necessarily, because the scout helps you a lot. That's something I take pride in, and being able to watch film. And so the film is like a cheat sheet for the game. As long as you study that very well, and, you're going to be in position. As long as you put yourself in position on what you've seen on film, you'll be fine. And I feel like that's helped me a lot. The coaching staff does a really good job of preparing us with scout before the game, scout leading up into the week. The tendencies of the opposition, who your matchups are going to be, and so I pay close attention to that.
Talk us through the trophies that you've won, because you have many trophies that you've won in this championship team so far.
I have 2 championships in Puerto Rico. I won one my rookie year, and I won one 2 years ago. And then this previous year, I won a championship in Japan as well. So I'm 3 for 3 so far in championships, and so I'm trying to make it 4 for 4 here in Australia.
Have you mentioned anything to Bryce or Jesse?
I know they got their championships, and so I'm not gonna try to bring mine up. But definitely, I know I have to catch Wags when he's done playing, because I know he got 6. So that's definitely something I'm going for.
Do you look at the Wildcats as an organisation, so much success, and you see all the banners hanging when you're playing, and think, well, I have joined a team which is going to help me to continue this legacy that you're building for yourself? Definitely.
When I first got here, they had showed me the wall where they have all the trophies, seeing all the years on the trophies, and so not only the long time ago success, but also the recent success as well. It shows that this is an organization that competes for a championship every single year, and that's their expectations. And so, that's mine as well. I don't play just to play. I play to win. I hate losing more than I like winning. So, anything that I can do, sacrifice myself to help this team reach the ultimate goals, which is championship. I've been brought up saying that when the team wins, everybody wins, and so it's not. That's why I don't really get caught up in whose stats are what or who shoots how many times. I just want to win, and so anything I can do to help is my ultimate goal.
You had a really horrible moment when your knee buckled earlier in the year, and where I was sitting, it looked like knee reconstruction written everywhere, and I'm told you were in tears in the tunnel at one point because you thought you'd done it that badly. Yeah. How frightening was that moment, knowing baby on the way, career happening here, wife's just had, I think she'd arrived 2 days before or something.
Yeah, and she had just got there. That was her first game, and I got hurt.
It must have been terrible. Yeah,
I almost told her to go back home. But it was, it was tough. I couldn't watch it back. They wanted me to see how bad how crazy it looked, because I heard it looked crazy and what it actually was. Missing the tears in the tunnel, I just couldn't walk. I was, getting helped off the court by two people who were very shorter than me, so I was having to do most of the heavy lifting myself, and I just couldn't. And so when I got to the tunnel, I had just collapsed. I had to get a wheelchair to the doctor to get it looked at, and then I had to go get an X-ray, and it was nothing but bad thoughts going through my head because I didn't know what was going on. I've never been hit like that, having somebody dive at my leg like that. But I knew it wasn't intentional. It was just freak accident. I'm just happy that it was just a bone bruise, and I was able to, unfortunately I missed that next game, but with the help of the training staff and everybody, I was able to get back out the very next game. And so that's why I was just like, I don't take anything for granted.
The thing that hits me when I look at you at training, you're often the one who's running around without a top on, and you are as strong and as wide and as powerful as anyone we've seen coming through this. Like your chest looks like a billboard; it's so wide, and you got these massive feet. Yeah. You look just athletically strong, and you're from an athletic family. Do you feel that strength helped you in that moment?
I would like to say so. I come from a family that I did a lot of yard work growing up, moving heavy stuff, working with my grandpa. He was, I guess you could say he was the one like cutting grass and stuff. That's what he did after he retired. And so I would always go out there and help him to get an extra couple of bucks. That was the way. If you wanted some money, you got to go help my papa. And so, being from where I'm from, Oklahoma, that's kind of what we do, outside stuff. And so I think that was because I don't like lifting, believe it or not. I don't like lifting weights, and so I've always been naturally strong. I kind of runs in our family, being naturally strong, and so I don't know what helped me not tear something or mess something up, but I guess whatever I've been doing, it helped me get through that.
It's amazing you don't lift weights. I'd love to look like you and not lift weights. It'd be amazing. Tell me about your feet. They are huge. Tell us some stories about the challenges you've had over time finding some shoes.
Well, I wear a size 17, and so there is no in-store shopping. It's never been. I remember I went from elementary school, I wore a 13, and then going into my 6th grade year, I grew into a 17. And so it was very tough to be able to find shoes that just fit. Because back then, going on the internet and typing in size 17, where can we find them, wasn't what it is now. Being able to order them home, we would have to drive somewhere. I remember the only time we could really buy shoes in stores when we would have to drive to Texas to go to an outlet store, and it would be like 4 shoes available in like clown colors, red, like solid red, all white, black, or like a off color, like a yellow. And it's like, well, give me the red ones then. Like, all right. And so it was tough, especially because I'm the tallest one in my family, by far the biggest feet in my family as well. So there wasn't like an outlet for us to help us out or anything. So, but now that I've gotten older, I've been able to get my own shoes. And I got so many shoes I can't even count how many. So I made up for it in the end.
So you said your schooling system then, we have a different schooling system to use. How old were you when you talking about you jumped to that size 17?
12.
12 years old.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And you got another giant on your team, Alex Say. You had to call on his services to help you at some point this year.
I had ripped my shoes in the Adelaide game. I get wrong cut or something, just ripped them from the bottom. And so I had to use his extra pair of shoes, and that's the first time I've ever been able to do that. Ask somebody, can I wear your shoes? And then I was able to. So I was able to play that second half. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any shoes to play in. So I always bring 2 pair now.
Would have been rather awkward. You had Brady Manek on your team back in the US. What sort of advice did he give you over here, and what sort of sounding board has he been for you?
Me and Brady didn't even talk about me coming out here. He was, but I know our families are close. My parents and his parents. I grew up with Brady. I've been playing with Brady since I was like 6 years old. Me, him, and his brother always been close. And then Brady me and Brady playing at OU together was also a big step for us. But just hearing from what his parents said, they touched on the physicality. In that case, me and Brady are the complete opposite, in terms of built-wise. But they've always spoken highly of Australia, and especially of Perth. They loved it out here. They loved everything about it, going to the games and things like that. And so they told me that his parents had told my parents that I would love it out here.
It was amazing. His parents, they were out here. They were flying back and forth from America all the time, and then flying around the country going to games. It was the greatest working holiday you could ever hope for them. Tell me about your dad. He's a basketball referee. You don't foul much. What sort of an impact has he had on helping you to understand the rules and the little things you can do to make sure that you're in a better position for the team?
Yeah, it's definitely has always played to my advantage. Growing up, that's how I was introduced to basketball, was going to his games, watching him ref rather than going to watch the game itself. Going to the referee camps that he would host to teach refs what to look for and what not to look for, like what is a foul and what's not a foul. And so understanding the game from that aspect on what I can get away with and what I can't. Also, I feel like gives me an edge sometimes, especially on the defensive end, understanding how physical I can be until it's becoming too much. Just the ins and outs that aren't necessarily taught. I was taught that way. I was kind of taught inverted. I was taught with the refs, the referee standpoint and then learning the basketball standpoint as well. And so, I rarely foul. So if they call fouls on me, I'm gonna say something to them. It's like, that wasn't no foul. Because I understand, I think like a ref rather than thinking like a basketball player. And so, it's always helped me a lot.
Does it help you with a respect relationship sort of thing with refs? I'd imagine you wouldn't be overly abusive towards them, whereas some people are. Yeah. Do you find yourself pulling yourself back because, that could have been your dad?
See, my dad wasn't allowed to ref my games. Not because he would cheat for me, because he would be too hard on me. We wouldn't get any fouls. Especially me, ain't no foul. Or he would tell, I was on a first name basis with all his peers, because I was around them a lot. They was almost like uncles, everybody. And so anytime I had somebody that I knew, it's gonna be a long day. And so it also helped me to understand that to deal with adversity, because some games they're gonna call fouls for you, sometimes they're not. But I'm not one to talk much. Like now that I'm older, I don't really talk much. I might say a couple of things. I might, keep it short and sweet with a ref, or ask him what I did and just keep it moving. I'm not one to go back and forth really. I'm kind of just too locked in to be dealing with all that, especially with like anybody else. If you're not on my team, I ain't really gonna talk to you.
You're a pretty resilient bloke, aren't you? Like in college, you had an issue with academics, which got you suspended for a little bit of time. Then you went and played in the summer league, and you got banned for that as well. Then you went to France, and they badmouthed you and cut you, and you come over here. But you've handled all these scenarios, and look like you've just handled them and gone, whatever, I'll move on. Yeah,
I just like I usually say, I just roll with the punches. The academic thing was a unfortunate situation. I was just helping somebody out, and they turned in my homework, so I got in trouble for that. And then, with the France thing, it just didn't work out. They said what they said about me, but clearly, my parents told me that, what the truth is will prevail, and I feel like, I am who I am. I can't fake who I am. Who I've been for this team is who I've always been. I'm just quiet, do my work, come in every day, do what's asked of me, regardless of what that is. And, I don't complain about nothing. I just try to find ways to be able to do the best of my ability of what's asked of me. And so, I put that France thing behind me. It's a learning curve. So I understand that it's a business, it's not just basketball. Unfortunately, there's also things that go on behind the scenes that aren't on my control. Even what I do on the court can't, overcome those things. So I just try to stay positive in everything.
You mentioned your dad. We've spoken about his refereeing. He's a commentator as well.
Yeah.
He was in an extraordinary position this year where he was calling a game and gunshots went off.
Yeah.
Inside the stadium.
Yeah, that's America for you. Unfortunately, especially where I'm from, it's not a coincidence. And so, he's also a police officer. So, he was off duty. Of course, you're just calling a high school basketball game on the radio. Unfortunately, somebody started shooting inside the arena, but thankfully he was okay. There was whoever, I don't know, I can't remember if anyone got hurt that night, but I think everybody turned out to be okay. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, especially in Oklahoma. It's like the wild, wild west out there. Anybody can get a gun, and so you never know. You might just be minding your business, or like at the store or something, and it's crazy. Like they be walking it on with the hip. Like he's like, yeah, shit.
It's a different world to Perth, isn't it?
By far. That's another reason why I don't like staying home, because it's a lot crazier. Especially, I keep saying where I'm from, but I like being away, because it helps me realize that especially when you watch the news and hear all the stuff that's going on, it's just a breath of fresh air whenever you can just be. Like I said, I would like to play basketball. I don't really endeavor with too much. I just want to hoop, and so I know I won't be able to play forever. So I'm just taking advantage of the time that I have now to just focus on basketball. I don't have to worry about my safety or stuff like that. It's just I just want to play.
You had any near misses back in Oklahoma? Has there been any times where you're just wrong place, wrong time, and all of a sudden you're ducking for cover?
Yeah, there's been some times like that. Unfortunately, just trying to hang out with your friends, and then some with people getting an argument that you ain't got. You just, like I said, it just could be me and you talking, and next thing you know, some people over the room they getting into it. So now everybody got to go. It's definitely some times where I've been wrong place, wrong time, and got to get out of there. And my friends and myself just be careful.
Well, right place, right time. Perth Wildcats at the moment for you. So, look, thank you very much for coming in. Really appreciate your time. Hopefully the rest of the season goes really well for you.
Thank you.